Well, I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about this or not, but I'm going to since we're here.
Okay.
The We haven't done a like guilty pleasures episode yet, I don't think, but I was as I'm waiting to get started on here, I should be like looking over notes or something, but I'm not. I'm watching the new season of Selling Sunset. I don't know
Oh,
if you watch
no.
any of those shows. So, they're like reality TV, high end real estate shows, and the drama of the people involved is just crazy, like a whole different world. And I know it's TV, I know it's, probably scripted and
Oh, yeah.
manufactured, but one question came up with one of the characters, or one of the actors is has just been told by another. This sounds so soap opera, but I promise there's a point. Has just been told by a frenemy that that she heard through somebody else that this woman's husband was seen with another woman.
Oh,
Ooh, big drama.
yeah.
Nobody wants
Yeah.
to hear that for
No.
sure. But at first, the woman was thankful that her frenemy told her, because better to hear it directly than to hear
Yeah.
rumors or whatever. But then everybody kind of turns on this friend who, saying she must have staged it, or it's not her business to tell anybody. And I've always been fascinated by this. If somebody thought Rob was cheating on you,
Hmm.
would you want them to tell you, or would you want them to keep it a secret? Because they're going back and forth about what constitutes a good friend. Like, a good friend doesn't tell, like, doesn't
Um,
blow up someone's life.
I think that they need to be told. I think you need to say something because,
I think you can be gentle about it, and I think maybe you can confirm your information
yeah.
before, make sure it's not just a rumor before you go. And But
Well,
man, I would be so upset if I found out my friends knew something and
yeah.
never told me,
Well, that's like
you know.
actually an episode on Jersey Shore where like these two characters, like they're not characters, I guess it's like reality TV too, but they're like in a relationship and like the guy goes to the bar and like two of the girls that live in the house catch him like making out with some other girl, and then they like struggle with like telling her, so they write a note, like they like go to the library and type out a note and like put it on her bed,
Before Chat GPT.
right?
Yeah.
And so they wrote it out and they put it on her bed or whatever, and she finds it and then she finds out, and it's like an ongoing thing. Like Clary has like a huge flag in her room and it's like the letter, and it's like the whole letter is written out on this flag, but it's just something
Oh
like if
yeah.
you're a Jersey Shore fan, like you would know about the note, and it's like a huge deal. But like
Mm.
they were mad, people were mad because they thought that they shouldn't tell him, and I'm thinking he like, or not tell him, sorry, tell her that he was cheating. And I think people need to know that. I think it
Yeah,
should be told.
yeah. I'd be so upset if
Yeah.
someone didn't tell me.
Yeah.
Like, that's not really a good friend.
No, I mean, unless they're telling just to hurt you in like a way that's like not
Right,
appropriate,
right.
then that's different. But like, like if they're the ones that are like sending you a picture of them making out with your husband, or like whatever, like it's him and I,
Yeah,
like that kind of a thing. But yeah, I think you should be told. That's
yeah.
just my opinion.
Anyways, I don't know what had me thinking about that, but I was just watching this episode and I'm thinking, this. I don't understand that kind
Yeah.
of logic. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
Oh, don't tell because it's like you don't want to hurt the person. It's like, don't be such a weenie.
Yeah.
Like, people get hurt. You don't think it's going to hurt a lot more when they find out another way?
Well, I
It's
mean, or they just continue living this lie,
yeah,
like, or,
that's true.
get an STD. I don't know.
And what's to say the wife or the partner doesn't already know?
Yeah.
Maybe they have some sort of arrangement. We don't know these things.
Yeah.
People do, they have all kinds of agreements and plans. Who's to say?
Who's to say? Not me. I'm
Mhm.
not to say a thing. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
I remember once working night shifts, because I used to as well work in long-term care, and I worked for home care, so did a lot of night shifts in people's homes. And this was when I was very newly married, and I liked the night shifts because you it was just quieter.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the clients saying to me like, why aren't you at home at night? You should be home. And I said, well, I this is when I work. I prefer to work at night or whatever. And I can't remember how she said it, but basically it was like, if you're not there with your husband, somebody else is.
Oh, love. Thank
Like
you.
your responsibility to be there with him, and if you aren't going to, somebody else will.
Oh,
And I'm
that's
like, well, if that's what he chooses, then have at her,
yeah.
because
Well,
I'm not fighting for a loser.
no, me neither. Like
No, thank you.
I actually just had this conversation with my oldest, like about, it's just one of those things. Like you just can't control it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. There's nothing you can do if somebody is that
Yeah,
way, right? Or in a situation where they feel it's okay to do that. Like it's just there's nothing you can do.
yeah,
And then you don't want to be with some. I mean, maybe you want to try and make it work. I don't know, but I think myself, I don't. You. It's better to know than spend another 15 years with somebody and be like, "Oh, it was a lie."
yeah.
you know?
Honestly,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I have a whole other family. Nobody wants that.
Okay. I think Trev and I mean, we've been married so long, and we've had conversations like this. I've always it's we don't bury our head in the sand, but we're both at the stage where it's like, if somebody else or something else makes you happier, then go do it.
hmm
I wouldn't stand in his way. I mean, I would be really disappointed,
Yeah.
but I would never, at this stage of my life, never fight for somebody who didn't want
No.
to to be a part of something. Like,
hmm
who has the energy for that?
Nobody.
And you see this sort of maybe they're a bit stereotypical women, and I mean, I am talking out of my ass because I haven't had this experience, and so it's easy for me to sit on this side of the podcast
Uh huh.
and say what I would or wouldn't do. And so I just really want to say, like, I understand that people's experiences are very unique, and but I just know for my own self, I never understood women who would beg to be in
hmm
a relationship and beg. I get it when you're teenagers, right? And you're
Oh
like
yeah.
you're all just figuring it out, whatever. But when you're older and women just feel, you know, that they have to jump through hoops to keep a man, or
hmm
to, I don't get that.
I
I
don't
I
either.
guess because we've both had pretty solid relationships, and
hmm
it was never about chasing each other. It was very much about like mutual respect and
Yeah.
mutual friendship and wanting to spend time together. It was
hmm
not those just things just never came up in
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. Like I mean,
So
I
it's kind of
think
hard to understand.
I'm there. I mean, there's obviously been situations in my life that like I can't wrap my head around, like certain people or whatever, or just certain situations that are, borderline crossing the line. And, I just I don't understand that. But I mean, there's nothing I can do. And I'm certainly not, I don't have the time. I
Mm.
barely have enough time or energy to get up to go to the bathroom. Like I'm not going to sit here and be like, pick me, pick me. Like I'm not going to do that. If you don't want to be with me, then don't. Like, like
Yeah,
I don't need to, yeah, to me it's
yeah,
irrelevant. Like, I don't need to wave a flag and have fireworks for you to notice me. Like you either want to be here or you don't. I
yeah.
think at this
And
point it's just a choice.